Boom! Welcome to the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast, the world's most disruptive podcast. My name is Michael Rapaport, a.k.a. the Inflamed Ashkenazi, a.k.a. the Sultan of Sniff, a.k.a. the Raging Bullshitter, a.k.a. the White Chocolatito, a.k.a. the Gringo Mandingo, and this is the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast, the world's most disruptive podcast. Welcome to the Iron Dome of Disruption. I hope everybody's feeling real good. Hope everybody is feeling real safe as we come up on the 10-year anniversary of the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. What were you doing? What were you doing when you first heard the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast? 10 years of disruption. Man, that is a long time to be disrupting. Crazy. 10 years of disruption, and oh, how the podcast world has changed. Now, podcasts are like assholes. Everybody has one. But when I started, it wasn't like that. I'm so glad to be rocking on the golden mic. The golden mic for 10 years. 10 years of full disruption. And I have become a controversial figure in the last 10 years. And actually, I came out of the womb as a controversial figure. It wasn't this mic, it wasn't this podcast that made me controversial. This just brought my controversial, disruptive personality to the masses. Anyway, hope everybody's feeling real good. Hope everybody is feeling real safe. Hope everybody is feeling real sane. Rapapack worldwide. The Rapapack in the United States, Canada, South America. Rapapack in Argentina. Rapapack in Australia, New Zealand. Of course, the French Rapapack. The Israel Rapapack. And the Rapapack parts unknown. We're coming to the end. The end of July. We are almost at the end of July. We're heading into the second. Man, we're going deep into the second half of 2024, and I never, ever thought it would be. Well, actually, I said from the beginning. Actually, I said from 2023, 2024 is going to be the wackiest of the wacky, and it's been. More than that so far. 2024 has been crazy. But we're hitting in the second half of the summer. Enjoy it while you can, even though it's hot as, it is swamp ass hot along the East Coast. It is, I don't know where to go. I don't know where to go to avoid the swamp ass. I don't know where to go to avoid the heat in the summer. But you got to stay cool. You got to stay safe, and you got to stay sane. Anyway, I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. Let's just jump into it. The Olympics. Who sat through the Olympics opening ceremony? What a fucking big pile of shit that was. Listen, I was excited. They used Paris as the backdrop. They didn't do it in a stadium. Traditionally, everybody comes into a stadium, and there's hula hoops, and they got all kinds of light shows and fireworks and dancers and synchronized swimming and synchronized light shows and firecrackers and M80s. And there's been some great moments of great opening ceremonies throughout the years. I remember, obviously, Muhammad Ali in Atlanta. That was a memorable moment. The 1984 Los Angeles Olympics opening ceremony. I remember that. Being so excited to see, the NBA players, Michael Jordan and them, Carl Lewis and them. This year, they decided to use the city of Paris. Paris. I've never been to Paris. I know. Yeah, Mike Rapp, you never been to Paris? I've never been to fucking Paris. It looks like a beautiful city, but I hear things. They're robbing volleyball players from Brazil. They robbed a couple of Austrian, cyclists or something like that. And if you can't keep your city safe during the Olympics. What the fuck? Obviously, I have to make my way to Paris. It's a gorgeous city, an iconic city, a historic city. But I was sitting around. It was Friday, it was Shabbat. Hope everybody had a great Shabbat. I was sitting around Friday to watch the opening ceremonies, and it came on, and it was like, this is cool. You had Kelly Clarkson and Eli Manning and Mike Tirico. How did they listen? I like Kelly Clarkson. Everybody likes Peyton Manning. He's great sense of humor. But how did they come up with those three? Mike Tirico makes sense. He's a center guy, middle guy, straight guy, and then you got Kelly Clarkson, who obviously knows nothing about sports, and you got Peyton Manning, who is got a great personality. He's Peyton Manning. But what the does Peyton Manning have to do with the Summer Olympics? There's no football in the Summer Olympics. No disrespect, but that wasn't the problem. First of all, it was raining. You can't blame anybody for the rain. It was raining from Jump Street, and it just went on and on and on and on. And you know it's bad when Lady Gaga doing like a cha-cha-cha, a French cha-cha-cha. No disrespect to Lady Gaga. I love her. She's great. She's a great performer. But she's doing like a French cha-cha-cha down some steps on one of the rivers. I guess Paris has a lot of rivers. They're known for their rivers. They're known for their rivers like Minnesota is known for their lakes, I think. Anyway, she's doing her cha-cha-cha, and they got every kind of freak show. And they'd have, this country's on a big boat, and then another country's on like a tugboat, and then the other countries, the smaller countries, they seem to be like on a rowboat, like they're rowing themselves. And of course, the big countries, France, with the most athletes, Brazil, Canada, they're on like the yacht type of things, or like the ferries. They look like they were on ferries. And then, of course, the United States came out there, and Coco Gauff and LeBron James on some Captain America shit. They're carrying the flags. And all that was great, but it took 4 hours. And all we had was Lady Gaga and the great Celine Dion, who, listen, I'm not a Celine Dion aficionado, but I know she's been struggling with so many health issues, and she sounded great. She looked great. And it was great to see her because apparently she hasn't been doing well with her health. But it was an experiment, and I think it was an experiment to do the opening games outside. And I will say that it was an experiment that went wrong. Obviously, the rain didn't help. The cameras, I don't know if they were on boats. They seemed far away. Like we were never able to get close up on Celine Dion and her cha-cha-cha. We were never able to get close up on Lady Gaga and her cha-cha-cha. And some of the, I guess, procedures, or some of the, I don't know what you would call them. Like they had like a last dinner. It's supposed to be like the last dinner. And they had drag queens. I like the LGBTQ. PRZ community. I f with them. But that was a big controversy, and you could hear Kelly Clarkson. She was like, what is this? Like, you could tell they didn't want to. Anyway, it was an experiment, and in my opinion, it was an experiment to use Un Paris as the backdrop. And I say it was an experiment that went wrong. It didn't go very well. Although people are still talking about it, I'm talking about it here on the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. First time I've probably ever talked about an opening ceremony. So maybe it was an experiment that went right. But the Olympics are underway. The Olympics are underway, and I've never watched 2-on-2 female beach volleyball before. I've seen clips on ESPN, and I'm kind of eating some potato chips and not really paying attention. We're flipping the channels because they're all over. The Olympics are on every channel, like MSNBC, NBC, Peacock Plus. They're all over the place. And I go, these girls are playing Olympic 2-on-2 beach volleyball in bikinis. And we ain't talking about like sports bikinis. We're talking about like bikinis, like some Pamela Anderson Baywatch shit. And they were competing their asses off in the Eiffel Towers in the background. But if you want a sport to pay attention to that's competitive, that ain't bad on the eyes, watch some 2-on-2 women's beach volleyball. Hey, you might want to watch some 2-on-2 men's beach volleyball. I don't know if they're out there in banana hammocks, but they should be, because if the women are out there in these Baywatch Pamela Anderson bikinis, the men should be out there banana hammock hanging. Because it's wild to see these girls in bikinis. I mean, they ain't got nothing on. Like, they're wearing bikinis that at the beach you'd be like, yo, oh shit. So I love 2-on-2 beach volleyball. I've learned to love it very quickly. I love volleyball. I love the track and field, which hasn't started yet. I love watching the swimming, the gymnastics, Simone Biles. Of course, we talked about the Simone Biles documentary on Rapaport's Reality, which you should listen to. I don't know if you guys are listening to Rapaport's Reality. It's the podcast I have with my wife, where we discuss all things reality TV, all things popular culture, and what it's actually like to be married to me and to be married to my wife. But really, I'm the focal point because I'm me, and it's a wild ride. I would say it's a roller coaster. Not a bad roller coaster, not necessarily a good roller coaster, but it is definitely a roller coaster. So you should definitely check out Rapaport's Reality. You could listen to it wherever you listen to your podcast. But the gymnastics, and of course basketball. I'm about to call it NBA. It's Olympic basketball. It has started, and Team USA look good. They're playing South Sudan in their next game, but Team USA, they look unbelievable. And I've watched the games. I watched France. France beat the shit out of Brazil. I watched Australia beat Spain. Canada beat Greece with Shea Gilgeous-Alexandra. Is that his name? Shea Gilgeous. With Shea. That's why they just call him Shea, or SGA. South Sudan, who is formidable, beat Puerto Rico. Germany beat Japan. And Team USA beat Serbia in an impressive game. They had Kevin Durant, the big spitter, coming off the bench. Like he was like Vinny the Microwave Johnson on the Detroit Pistons on steroids. He came off the bench, and I think he hit 8 out of his first 8 shots. And it was just an onslaught. And of course, Serbia has Joker, and they have some other NBA players, but they were just outmanned. It was crazy. It was like some NBA 2K shit. And the other guy didn't know how to play NBA 2K. Like it was close for a little bit, but it was nuts to watch that team go full throttle. Joel Embiid, I don't know what you eat. I like to eat, but I'm not getting paid $260 million a year, Joel Embiid. We know you're injury prone, okay? You're a big guy, big body, thick, no diddy, big, 7'1", gotta be 300 pounds, looking like you got, breastises. Get yourself in shape, man. You want to keep getting hurt? You gotta try to trim down. The lighter you are, you know this, Joel Embiid, the lighter you are, the less chance you have of continually injuring yourself. I don't know why you're playing in the Olympics. I know it's your dream, and everybody wants a gold medal. I want a fucking gold medal. But let me tell you something. If I was playing for Team USA, I'd be in tip-top shape. And I ain't getting paid $256 million, Joel Embiid. I know the Philadelphia 76ers is like, what the f*** is he's going to get injured? You look like you're going to hurt yourself. You look like you're labored. You look tired. You look heavy. You're breathing hard. And I know, playing with LeBron James, Steph Curry, Anthony Edwards, the ball, it's going fast. This isn't the 76ers like where we're lumbering and everything's, revolving around you. You're playing for Team USA. You're really just a cog in the wheel. Get yourself in shape. And if the speed is too much, sit your ass down on the bench before you tweak something. The game was good at first. Serbia put up a fight, but ended up losing by 26 points. They basically got their asses kicked. And the big joker he's sick. The joker's like, I know these guys. I bust their ass every single season. But he was outmanned. Serbia didn't stand a chance. And, when the joker was on the floor, it was better, but he can only do so much. Like I said, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Steph, they're in full bloom. They're having fun. LeBron James can literally play till he's 55. I don't know what he's going to do, LeBron James. I feel like he's just going to go until he gets injured and he can't play anymore because he's certainly the most intense player on the United States Olympic basketball team. He's going full fucking blast. And I know he probably has a documentary crew and they're filming it. And, it's like everybody, not that he needs a documentary crew. He doesn't need a battery in his back. I'm not saying that. I'm not shitting on LeBron. I've shat on LeBron long enough. Okay, I won't shit on him during the Olympics. That's all I'm going to say. I won't shit on LeBron James I've shat on him enough, but it's hard to even shit on him. He looks great. He plays hard. He's representing the country. He's never gotten in trouble. He's a true American hero, an American story, a one of one, okay? Okay? I've said it. He's got the greatest career in the history of the NBA, bar none. All the things he's done. So he looked great. Kevin Durant literally couldn't miss. Anthony Edwards, Steph Curry, like they're using Steph Curry and Kevin Durant as like sharpshooters. That's all they have to do. You know how easy that is for them? They were just going crazy. They got Bam Adebayo, Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis comes off the bench when Joel Embiid subs out. I mean, you know what it's like? It's literally like an all-star game, but they're playing full throttle. It's very impressive. It's so deep that Jason Tatum, this team is so deep, no Diddy, that Jason Tatum played 0.0 minutes, which turned into a big controversy. Everybody's hoggling and haggling. Steve Kerr, why didn't you play Jason Tatum? And was it personal? And Jaylen Brown isn't on the team, and Derek White is on the team, and Jason Tatum sat on the bench. This happens every single Olympics. There's 12 guys on the team. Somebody's going to sit. There's going to be other games where somebody else sits. But it was everywhere. And the conspiracy theories about why Jaylen Brown isn't on because he had something, a fallout with Nike, and Jason Tatum is on the Celtics. And is it a Celtic thing? But then Derek White is playing. And why did Kawhi Leonard leave? Because apparently he wasn't really hurt, but they wanted Derek White, but they didn't want Jaylen Brown, who's the MVP. It's just a big mess. Steve Kerr allegedly told Jason Tatum, you ain't playing this game. So he knew he wasn't playing. I'm sure that's the first game of Jason Tatum's career where he literally didn't play at all, but he knew he wasn't playing this game. It sucks to sit there while you're guys and you're an NBA champion and you're arguably the best player on your team, one of the best players in the league, but you will have your time to shine, Jason Tatum. I know it sucks. Trust me, I rode the bench. I know what it feels like to ride the bench, and I ain't Jason Tatum. But you will have your time to shine. But this is why the NBA is fantastic. This is why it's like literally the Real Housewives of the NBA. There's always some drama. There's always some gossip. There's always some conspiracy theory. There's always some tweeting. Grant Hill's going back at Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown's going back at Grant Hill. This is why the NBA is and always will be fantastic. But long story short, you should absolutely watch some USA basketball, watch some Olympic basketball. And if you really want to get your mind off any craziness, and there's so much craziness in the world between Kamala, between smoking Joe Biden, between pig Donald Trump, between everything that's going on in the United States, let alone everything that's going on with Israel. If you want to find some time to just decompress and watch some fantastic sports, some fantastic competition, do yourself a favor and watch the Olympics. Like I said, it's on NBC, it's on NBC Plus, Peacock Plus, MSNBC, and MSNBC Plus. And I have subscriptions to all of them. What else is going on? Like I said, if you want to enjoy yourself, you should absolutely, positively watch the Olympics because it's so much fun. It always is. Even the weird sport. I was watching table tennis. I mean, not that that's weird. It's weird that it's an Olympics. It's not weird. Fencing. They're on that shit, that Robin Hood shit. You know what's going to be a sport soon is pickleball. I don't know if pickleball's been a sport long enough to be a sport in the Olympics yet, but rest assured pickleball will be a sport in the Olympics very, very soon. I don't know if they play pickleball worldwide, but they don't fucking stop here in America. Everywhere you go, cling, cling, cling. 3-on-3 basketballs, dope. Jimmer Fredette, Jimmy Buckets, Jimmy Fredette's. Jimmer Fredette is playing for the Olympic team, which is 3-on-3 is ill. It is important to balance things. It was a crazy, crazy, crazy weekend. I don't know if I talked about it on the podcast, but my last trip to Israel, I spent the day in this beautiful village in the northern part of Israel, in this Druze village, Druze, Druze village called Pekin. And I have a friend that lives there, and I met him on my first trip, and we've remained in contact. And, I got the chance to go up there. It was a long drive, but it was well worth it. And got the chance to go up there, meet his family, and walk around this. It was like a movie set. It's literally like a movie set. Like set designers, set decorators they'd be just salivating if they saw this village in Pekin. It was incredible. So old, so beautiful, so unique, so historic. The history's just right there. You don't even need any explanation. It's just like, whoa. I was in these homes that were built, and they're like, it was just crazy. And this village, it was like reminding me of like a Quentin Tarantino movie, it's something like or like a Clint Eastwood movie. Like it would be like one of those, sets in an old Clint Eastwood movie, or some kind of like, I don't know, like some. Just they were incredible, and I had an incredible experience up there, and a great day up there, and learned so much, and learned about the Druze community and their history and their ties to Israel, and their history and their ties to Palestine, they've been there before Israel was created. They were there before Gaza was, they just been there, and they're loyal, and they're fierce, and they're tough, but they're peaceful, but they are tough. They don't fuck around. They're not scared of anybody. And Saturday, a horrible thing happened. A horrible thing happened in another Druze village called Majal Shams. I hope I'm saying it correctly. During the day, a missile from Hezbollah. And if you don't know who Hezbollah is a terrorist regime, a terrorist, miserable, radical, Islamic, dumb. These people are so fucking dumb. from Lebanon. And I've been studying and learning and listening and reading, and the amount of bad decision after bad decision that all these places and these leaders of these terrorist regimes have made for so long. They're so dumb because they're so short-sighted. The short-sightedness and the bad decision after bad. I can understand a bad decision and maybe another bad decision and even a third bad decision. But when you go into fifth, sixth, and seventh bad decision, you're a fucking idiot. And I know the innocent civilians and the Christian community of Lebanon does not want another war. They don't want more war. I know that the innocent people of Iran don't want another war. I know that they tried to stand up, and I know that they've tried to protest, and I was one who wasn't paying attention, and the world didn't pay enough attention. The world didn't pay enough attention. And I don't know how to fix it. I ain't no fucking genius. But Hezbollah has been sending rockets and missiles to Israel since October 8th. There are 100,000 displaced people. 100,000 displaced people in northern Israel. The size of Israel has shrunk because 100,000 people have had to leave the north of Israel because of these cockers, these Hezbollah. They're the of Iran, the little whores, the streetwalkers, the $15 suckers of Iran. And they have been bombing and sending rocket after rocket and missile after missile. And the Iron Dome is working overtime to knock down their cheap, corroded, bag, homemade missiles. And they're not, these Hezbollah people are not to be around with. They're scary. They're formidable. Iran funds them. And they want smoke. It seems like they want, not it seems like, they do. They want smoke. They want a war. Because they've been with Israel with Israel since October 8th. It's every day, to the point where the size of Israel's population has went south. They've had to leave. They've abandoned. They've left their homes and their villages. They've left their neighborhoods because they're getting bombed by the border of Lebanon. And this weekend, these suckers, during the middle of the day, got one of their rockets or missiles. I don't know what the difference is. They got one of their rockets through in this beautiful, peaceful village that's predominantly Druze, and killed 12 kids. They killed 12 kids. And it was very easy. The IDF, after they cleaned up the carnage and they got the missile that got through, to figure out that it came from Hezbollah, the little whores of Iran. And of course, Hezbollah, just like any good lying little whore, they denied it was them. And the media and Hezbollah, more importantly, they said it wasn't us. It was a misfire from the Iron. Israel did it. It was Israel's Iron Dome misfiring and killing their own. And the way it was reported by BBC, what a piece of shit, fake news organization, anti-Semitic, miserable, fake news. The Washington Post, fuck you also. CNN, the way they word things, CNN, you Jake Tapper. He's like, well, I've done so much for his. You haven't done enough, motherfucker. I don't know if this guy has ownership in CNN or he's like the Phil Jackson of CNN, Jake Tapper. Do better, motherfucker. Because as soon as Israel does something, it's clearly Israel did this, that, and the third. Hezbollah does it, and you report all these news organizations. Hezbollah denies it. We got the fucking missile. We know it was Hezbollah. They killed 12 innocent kids between the ages of 6 and 20 playing soccer on a gorgeous Saturday in the summer of northern Israel. And I know some of you cocksuckers like, well, what about has Israel done? What about the hospitals? You don't know what you're talking. I don't even acknowledge you people because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. When there's a tragedy like this, I don't talk to the watermelon fucks. I don't talk to you pro-Palestinian, self-hating, self-loathing, cosplay masked up freaks. My heart goes out to the families. My heart goes out to the entire community up there. And now Israel is in a conundrum because we're approaching 300 days since October 7th. 300 fucking days. And the IDF last week found five bodies of hostages, 5 bodies of hostages of civilians that were killed on October 7th. And the bodies were found in a tunnel. But they weren't just, placed in a tunnel. They were buried behind a wall that was built to hide the bodies. That's a fact. And the way they got to the 5 hostages that were buried in a wall in a tunnel is because one of the martyrs, he rolled over. They probably squeezed him. They probably fucking guilted him. I don't know what they do to these fucks. I know you're not supposed to waterboard these suckers. I would go to jail. If it was me, I'd be in prison because I'd be waterboarding these suckers, be smacking them around, talking about their moms, talking about their dads, telling them there's no virgins waiting for you, scumbag. I don't care what kind of book you read. I don't care what your mother told you, what your father told you. I don't care what the your homeboys down the street told you that you were playing dominoes with. There ain't no virgins waiting for you, you punk ass motherfucker. But they were able, because one of these Hamas terrorists gave the IDF information and took them to the tunnel. They took this terrorist creep sucker and he guided them to the tunnel and they found these bodies buried behind a wall. They built the wall, a cement wall, and they got the bodies. They retrieved these bodies. This is the lengths that these people go to. They don't do anything constructive for their people, but they build the shit out of some tunnels and they build walls in the tunnels to bury bodies. This is their focal point. This is what I'm talking about. Bad decision after bad decision. Short-sighted, dumb f***s. And now the IDF, Israel, they're going to strike back. As of the recording of this podcast, they've already targeted and eliminated some more terrorists out of Lebanon from Hezbollah. And this is bad. It's very, very bad because they've been poking the bear. Iran's just sitting back like, we don't know. And Hezbollah is poking the bear. The Houthis poked the bear. They f***ed around and found out. Not that that's funny, but they f***ed around and found out. And I would just love to see if the Houthis, the little of Iran, the Hezbollah of Iran, and the rest of these little of Iran, if they just left Israel alone. You do you, and we will do us. You do you, and we will do us. What would happen? Why can't that happen? Why don't you just leave Israel alone. Let's do an experiment. Let's do 10 years, 5 years. You don't with us, we don't with you. 5-year ceasefire across the board. You do you, and we'll do us. And again, I ain't no genius, but we need, listen, staying Donald Trump, smoking Joe Biden, whoever's in office, Kamala, smoking Joe Biden. If you want to bring some dignity, you want to bring some self-respect to the last 6 months while you're in office, squeeze these from Iran, squeeze them dry, put tariffs, put sanctions on these letting them sell their oil to China, selling cheap oil to China, putting billions of dollars in Iran's pocket. China, the government, Iran, the government, squeeze these dry. Because based on what I know, that's the one thing that dick-stained Donald Trump. And as soon as smoking Joe Biden came in, he lifted the tariffs and lifted the sanctions on Iran, who are good for nothing, that terrorist regime of Iran. Anyway, I don't mean to go down a full-blown rabbit hole. I know some of you like it, some of you don't like it. I try to balance it all out. That's why I give you the NBA up the top. I can give you some sick You want some sick of the week? I'll do sick You got people pissing on planes. Weird shit. But make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend about the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. I'm doing it all. It's a diversified podcast. I'm doing it all. And I've done it all. I'm done. Tell a friend about the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. Miles Jordan, a.k.a. the Bleach Brothers, a.k.a. the Dust Brothers, and this puppy. Take me out of here with something real nice. Take me out of here with something real loud. But most importantly, end this I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast with something real funky. It's the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. I'm out.